Subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss an update from First Post.
Hi Eric, I want to start off by asking you, is this your first time in India?
No, I was here in December of last year for a film I produced called Bright.
Okay, of course.
And so we came here and did a press tour, and I enjoyed it very much. And so
This
I'm
is
very
a
happy
very
to be back.
refreshing answer because the other two haven't come
No,
at
they've
all.
never, like,
Yeah,
no,
and
no,
Michael is talking about dosa and he's
Yes.
calling it a bread and eating it with ketchup. So.
Yes, no, I've gone a little further, and I think actually our colleagues here were impressed with my knowledge of what restaurants to go to. There were some that I couldn't get into when I was here in December.
Like
that I was
what?
able. Trishna, which I like very much, which is a seafood restaurant.
Right.
And then we went to a restaurant called Bombay Canteen that I
Yeah,
like
that's
very much.
good.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's really good. This is a great city.
So tell me, on that note, this is the first time that Netflix has got international talent to India to promote a series. So how do you think tapping into the Indian market so closely will affect the business of Narcos and its reach?
I think, first and foremost, I've been surprised by a lot of the success of Narcos. I knew that it would work in some places for sure, but I didn't grasp quite how big it would become, and I'm very grateful. But the fact that it works in India, to me, was really one of the most gratifying things. I'm a huge fan of Indian cinema. And when Netflix told me that it performed very well here and that they'd actually like us to come here, I was thrilled. And I think that we're looking to continue to tell stories in this world, and it seems a lot of Indian cinema, at least the Indian cinema that I watch, is...
Which is?
I love The Company and Gangs of Wasseypur.
Oh, wow.
I love Sarkar, is that the other?
Sarkar,
yeah. I like that. So I like organized crime. I'm just kind of into it. Yeah. So and I think Indian audiences do too. So, and I love Sacred Games. So
yeah, you saw Sacred Games.
Oh yeah, of course. Right away, those are my Vikram and Anurag, and they're amazing. So it's a great show.
Right. So do you at all have any concern that Narcos kind of, glorifies the drugs or the underworld only because, every time a new season of Narcos comes out, there's one side of the audience that's always like, big fans of the show and it's super attractive to them. Yeah. But there's always, as with everything, there's one negative narrative that says, maybe it would glorify it. So what are your thoughts on that?
The simple answer is, if you watch our show, these men lead incredibly unhappy, short lives that end either in a hail of bullets or in a jail cell. So, we also don't shy away from the horrible things that they do, including murdering innocent people. But if that isn't enough, and for some people it's not enough, our obligation is to humanize these people.
Right.
It doesn't serve anyone to go around thinking that, that person's a monster and these people aren't. The reality is these people are created by environments and trends and policies, and the appetite for cocaine, in America, which is enormous.
Off the charts, yeah.
Enormous, and here as well, I'm sure. But America is pretty unique atop the pyramid. And corruption in Colombia and in Mexico and in some of these, many countries all over the world. And so to simply reduce it down to painting these men with the broad brush of they're bad, I don't believe it. I think that there are not good guys and bad guys in the world. There are bad guys and very bad guys. And
that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, and I think everyone is either the hero or the victim in their own story.
Right.
And everyone has what they believe is an excuse. It's probably more likely an explanation and not an excuse, but these guys believe it. And so when we approach telling their stories, we have an obligation to tell the truth about them.
Yeah, as close to the truth as possible.
Yes, and sometimes they make a lot of money. Yeah. And sometimes they have power over their enemies. Right. And so some of those things appeal to certain people who might be powerless, who might be poor, who think, I'd like to be that, but I don't think that anyone watches it and thinks, I know what I want to do with my life. I want to be that.
Right. Why Michael and why Diego? Tell me.
Easy. When it came time to recast, as we do I don't know why I do it to myself, but somehow I've found myself with a show that sort of has to hit reset.
Every time.
Yes, yeah.
So much death.
Yes. So Michael and Diego were easy. They they were my first choice for each part.
Right.
I loved the way they matched up with one another. And they're spectacular actors. And the key thing, and we found this with Wagner Moura, who played Pablo Escobar in seasons 1 and 2, you have to like these people.
Yeah.
If you don't like this person, then you're not interested in understanding them.
Yeah.
And Diego is so likable, as is Michael.
Yeah.
And I think they're perfect.
How relevant do you think a Narcos Mexico is in today's Trump-led USA, considering what is shown in the show is still very much prevalent and still does exist quite a bit in Mexico? I mean, they're still struggling with a lot of the same...
Oh, it's worse than ever.
Yeah.
No, it never... I think that the drug war is our shared history globally. The same cocaine that you'll find in Mumbai comes from the same place as the cocaine you'll find in Tokyo, in Sydney, Australia, in Los Angeles, California, in Copenhagen, Denmark. It is the same. And it's something that we all share. It's something that affects all of us.
Yeah.
And collectively, you look at the global war on drugs, we continue to do it wrong. We continue to look outward rather than inward at the fact that we're dealing with a major healthcare crisis, which is what it is. That's what addiction is. And to think, for example, that you can put up a wall and somehow that will change anything. Anywhere I read about the prison system in America, the prevalence of drugs in prison is off the charts. There are more drugs in prison than you can imagine. And prison is surrounded by walls. It's all walls. If there's a will, there's a way. You will never win by attacking the supply. You have to concentrate on the demand. So, I think in this current political climate, we seem to understand less than we have in maybe 50 years. So I don't anticipate it getting better anytime soon.
Right. And lastly, to wrap it up, what should fans expect out of this season of Narcos Mexico?
I hope that fans find enough familiarity with the things that they loved about the first 3 seasons, the themes, the tone, but I also think enough new stuff being in Mexico with this amazing cast that I think they're
and the story itself being so
it's great. How many have you seen?
I've seen 4.
4, okay. So you're
the
getting
ones that we got.
You got 4, okay. I think people are going to enjoy it.